When you use a room database, you query the database by defining and calling Kotlin functions in your code that map to SQL queries. You define those mappings in a DAO or database access object using annotation, and Room creates the necessary code for you. Think of a DAO as defining a custom interface for accessing your database. For common database operations, the Room library provides convenience annotations such as insert, delete, and update. So you don't even have to write SQL queries. For everything else, there is the query annotation, and you can write any queries that are supported by SQLite. Here is a very simple example. This code defines an interface that is annotated with DAO, which tells the compiler that this interface's role is to define how to access data in a Room database. Next, we have a method to insert one item. It is annotated with the insert annotation. Next is only the signature of an insert function that has one entity as its parameter. From this, Room creates the SQL and any other code needed to insert that sleep night item when insert is called from the Kotlin code. Finally, we have a query annotation. Because this query we want to execute is not available as a shortcut through an annotation. The SQL query is provided as an argument to the annotation. This particular query asks for all entities in the daily sleep quality table, sorted by ID in descending order. And below, we provide the signature of a corresponding Kotlin function, getAllNights, which defines to return a list of sleep nights. Notice that we are returning this as live data, so that once we have all the nights, we don't have to manage getting them again every time there is a change to any night. Room will update the live data for us whenever something changes, which is pretty convenient. Once we have this DAO defined, Room creates all the code to map between the database queries and the functions so that we can call the function in our Kotlin code, and under the hood, the query is executed against the database. I think this is pretty neat. As an added bonus, as you create your queries in Android Studio, the compiler checks your SQL queries for syntax errors. So, for our Sleep Tracker app, in our database of sleep nights, we want to be able to insert new nights, update an existing night, update an end time and a quality, get a specific night based on its key, get all nights so we can display them, and get the most recent night when we don't have a key that matches. We also want to be able to delete all entries in a database. Let's look at the code.